Alright, chat. So, I already know how to play this character. I'm not gonna lie. I played her for the first time the other day, and this might be the easiest DPS character that has been added to the game since the game release. But we're still gonna watch this video about the character to see if we can improve and make ourselves even better at the character.
So Elsa Bloodstone just released with this new mid-season, and while she's
Yeah.
not technically as complicated to play as Deadpool at the first glance, you definitely need to know what you should be doing on this character if you want to actually be effective, because she's not...
No, she's not even. No, it's not even just first glance. She's not nearly as complicated as Deadpool. Like, flat out. Deadpool is so much harder to understand. You also gotta, like, use an entire menu in the middle of fighting as Deadpool. It's so stupid. Like, I get what they were going for, but I hate the way that it was implemented.
as straightforward
It
as
makes
she
it
may
so
look. So in this
confusing.
video, I'll be going over what her abilities do, some more tips and general gameplay examples from my early access. So if you want to learn more about Elsa, stick around because you're going to learn everything. First things first, her primary fire is this. It's a 2-shot burst shotgun. As you can see, it fires 2 shots per click with a total of 8.
And it makes it hella easy to get kills with it. I'm gonna follow this guy, by the way. Yo, is he a Adam Warlock main? That's crazy.
Bullets, which technically is only 4
Bro's
times
the
that
goat
you
if
will
he's
shoot
an Adam
before
Warlock
you have to
main.
reload. This is a hit scan, so you don't need to lead or anything, as well as it can technically 2-shot, headshot if you are very close, and the damage fall off is decent enough. It's not the biggest fall off or the smallest, it's just...
Yeah, no, the damage fall off, I feel like it does nothing. I get kills all day from long range with this character. It's so easy, especially in quick play. I haven't played her in comp because I don't want to get yelled at. But in quick play, this is the easiest character to get kills as. Like, apart from Scarlet Witch, this is the easiest DPS character.
Okay, moving
It's
on,
so
her
awesome.
right click just fires a bullet that if you hit it on an enemy or the floor, it
What rank are you
ricochets
at? I'm still in Platinum 3. What about you?
and auto targets 2 enemies and then puts a mark on them, where if you get this mark, you get a short burst of movement speed.
Don't get
Moving on,
back
the
up.
next ability is a shift, which is a short dash, which allows you to get an empowered shot as well with this duration on the screen. This empowered shot can stay for up to 6 seconds. As you can see, it fires 5 bullets. As you can see, they are like a close horizontal spread, and it doesn't have damage fall off, assuming you can hit all of the 5 bullets. Another thing to note about the empowered shot is that it can pierce targets and still deal full damage as long as you can hit all the 5 bullets. However, besides this short dash ability, as you can see, now it has an 8-second cooldown. However, if you look at the bar under my health bar, this
You're in
is
Plat
sort
2
of
now?
like an
Hell
experience
yeah.
bar, same as Deadpool, meaning when you deal
But you already had Overwatch experience, right? If I'm remembering that correctly.
damage and get kills, you will get 1 level up. As you can see, it's split into 3 mini bars, which are like 3 levels. Each time you get a level, it reduces the cooldown of the short dash. So now that I have only 1 bar, the cooldown is 6 seconds. If I get another bar by getting a kill or doing damage, now the cooldown is 4 seconds. And if I get another bar and the last one, now the cooldown is around 2 seconds. What this means is that during the game, you may be able to just walk around the map and always have your first shot be an empowered shot, as well as you can see, when you dash, you get a little bit of extra health, as in bonus shields right here. As you can see, they're now depleting, and you get these every time you use the shift or the E, but we're going to get to the E further. So once again, what this means is that you could technically, at full level, walk around the map with always having 350 HP to start,
Yep.
and an empowered shot to begin with, so you could shoot, then dash again, then have another powered shot, and then just quickly kill them. And you can do this throughout the entire game, assuming you have the full XP bar. However,
Elko.
another thing to
Sorry.
note is that if you die, you will lose 1 of these 3 bars. you don't lose all 3 of them, you only lose 1 when you die, so it's not as bad as on Deadpool where you lose your entire ultimate charge if you die, but still what this means is that you will need to be careful about your life and try to stay alive as much as possible so that you don't lose any of the progress on these experience bars so that you can have the full upgrade of the dash ability. Another thing to note about this dash ability is that it's sort of like Magic Portal, as in it follows the direction of your movement, not where you are looking. However, it is only movement horizontally. You cannot dash upwards or downwards. It is only in a 2D space, so only
Yeah, because the F is the upward and downward dash.
And it will keep your elevation if you are in the air. Moving on, her next ability is the E, which is a 2-parter. The first time you press it, you do a short dash, which gives you an empowered shot, and a follow-up where you push yourself.
Oh wait, no, F is my bad. I had those backwards.
And you also get another empowered shot. However, if you collide with an enemy, you will kick them up and get them into the air. So you can do some nice combos with this. So considering what we
I'm not gonna lie, I just spam the combo of kick them up, kick them back, shoot the thing that's like an Ankh but not an Ankh, shoot that thing at them, and then shoot them in the face and they die. It's so easy. Like, I can kill a tank in a second and a half by doing that if nobody's healing them. It is the easiest DPS character that they've added since the game came out.
About earlier with the short dash, you could technically start with a empowered shot, then do this. And
that's what I do. And I figured that out on my own. That's exactly what I do. All day playing this character. You
can use up to 3 empowered shots or even 4 empowered shots, assuming you start with 1 from the beginning, so you get 1, 2, 3, and then another dash, and you can get up to 4 empowered shots in a row. And it is actually encouraged to use more empowered shots because...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch any guides. I just figured this out on my own, and now he's teaching me things that I have already figured out. Yo, you early? I mean, I get off work at like 8 on Mondays, so that's the reason I'm so early.
Like I said earlier, with the primary fire, you technically only have 4 bullets, and so you are incentivized to use your abilities a lot of times so that you use these empowered shots, because as you can see, these empowered shots are not part of your ammo, and so instead of having to reload 5 million times per minute, you need to be using your empowered shot to dish out the damage and stay on the shooting so you don't miss out on ammo. Her next ability is the F, which is a trap. You just shoot out a trap which is invisible and invincible. However, as you can see,
wait, what is this?
Shoot out a trap which is invisible and invincible.
Why have I not seen this? I've been seeing people use this ability, but I haven't been able to figure out how to use it. I know it's a trap and it's like a stun, but I haven't been able to use the stun ability. Are we gonna play Helldivers? I gotta re-download the game because I had to clear some storage off my PC for recording purposes the other day.
However, as you can see on the left, it has 100 HP. This HP is before it goes out, so before it arms itself, like now, you can shoot it, and you can also shoot it if you get captured by it. A few things to note about this is that it does not expire. However, you only have one in the world, so if you try to replace it, the previous one will get destroyed. So it's nice. It's a nice trap to place in some entranceways like this, where you can block someone flanking or some diver or something. And another thing you can note, as you can see right there, if an enemy gets trapped by it, you can
I don't know
dash.
how you use this ability on controller, because like I don't have access to it. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know why. Why don't I have this? Today, I should be able to download it in time.
Towards them, if you want to close the distance and do a combo. Another thing to note is that you can just kind of line it up. However, as you can see, the dash has a short distance. Moving on, her ultimate, you send out a big beast, which captures the enemies and drags them along the way, all the way, and then does damage when they are colliding with a wall, or you can recall it towards you.
Or you can throw them
that's
off
when
a
it will
cliff.
do
That's what I like to
A
do.
big damage. Recall it by pressing the button once again, and as you can see, it deals damage when it finishes the run. A few things to note about this ultimate. This ultimate can grab multiple enemies, and it can be dragged a long distance. As you can see, it goes for a very long time, and during that entire time you are completely stunned. You cannot do any actions.
Okay, but you need to show yourself, like, using it to push them off of a cliff. Because, like, that's what most people are probably going to use this for. That's what we need to see.
Nothing. It's kind of like Wolverine Ultimate in that regard. You are basically fully stunned. However, this ultimate can be technically destroyed because, as you can see on the left, it has 500 HP. And so, technically, people could be shooting it down and destroying it, same as the Squirrel Girl Ultimate. In that regard, it is kind of similar to Squirrel Girl Ultimate, as in it is a deployable, and I'm pretty sure Phoenix Ultimate can instantly break it, as well as, of course, your teammates can shoot it down. Another thing to mention is that it will grab the thing. Even though the thing is technically immovable, it is coded differently and it will grab the thing. However, it will not grab CC immune targets like Groot with his big wall, or Emma in her diamond form, or
That's so
anything other like that. And
stupid!
lastly,
I hate it.
her team up with Deadpool, it just transforms your
So why does it grab a big ass fucking rock, but it can't grab somebody who's in a diamond form?
alternate fire, which is, instead of just doing the regular shot, now it does some damage over time, makes the enemy see some Garbanzo on their screen, as well as you get a little bit of healing after the duration ends. So as you can see, I can take some damage here, and if I send it out, I will get a little bit of healing once it ends, about 40 or 50.
Wait,
It's not a
what? I
lot,
didn't even
but,
realize
it's just
that.
like a nice little bonus to have, let's say, for this team up. So that's about it in terms of the abilities. Now let's move over to some gameplay examples and bonus tips to get you started so you can do some more big things with Elsa. Firstly, regarding her shooting and primary fire and all that stuff, like I said, she is a hit scan, and so she will be decent against flyers and
Bro, I
shooting
need the
enemies
skin
from a
for the
distance,
character,
being
though.
annoying,
I need
doing
it.
poke damage. She is not necessarily
For
a full
reasons.
diver or anything, but she is a very aggressive poke character. Similarly to maybe Psylocke, and slightly less like Phoenix. So on this character, you will want to shoot isolated targets. You don't want to just be spamming tanks the entire game. You want to look for targets that are by themselves, which you can kill with your big mobility and burst potential. And one of these can be a flyer, like this Iron Man. Assuming you hit your shots, he can do a lot of damage to flyers like that. However, the more bigger impact that you will have on this character is probably the ultimate, because the ultimate has a lot of versatility and is very powerful. One of the biggest strengths of this ultimate is that it can take enemies very far away, and so you can take enemies off the map like we saw in the trailer. You can take enemies outside of support ultimates, as well as you can also kill supports before they deploy their ultimates if they don't react in time, because it is a very
Wait, I
long
didn't even think about that. So I could use it at the end of a Cloak and Dagger ult. I could use it on them to just pin them against a wall and chomp them down. Or when Invis uses her ult, I don't know if it'll slow down the... If it slows down my ultimate, because my ultimate is technically a character, would it slow down that ultimate? Or could you theoretically grab Invisible Woman out of her ult, pin her against the wall, and chomp her down?
However, depending on the map, a very good way to think about the ultimate is trying to line up where the ultimate can push people off the map. So as you can see on this map, I could technically push them off right here. However, because this is, well, my first time trying the character, I did have the right idea. However, I didn't have the absolutely right angle. However, in a real game and with some more practice, you can certainly push people off the map
were
with this
very
character
close,
very
though.
easily, because the hitbox is quite forgiving. And
And,
so if you have
and
some
if that worked, that would have been a crazy play, bro.
good lineups, you can grab 2, 3, maybe 4 people off the map very easily. As well as you can technically combo it with a Groot ultimate, as in the Groot will ult multiple people and then you send this ultimate into them, grabbing all of them and pushing them off the map or pushing them far away from the point, or some other different scenarios like that. Similarly to how you would combo Groot with maybe a Jeff or a Moon Knight. So this ultimate is very nice for...
I wonder if you push people off the map with your ultimate, does that count as a kill? I don't know. Does it count as your kill, or does it count as them falling off the map?
Combos on stunned people like that, as well as just completely taking the backline and the supports out of the equation by pushing them off the map or taking them very far away. Another thing to note about her ultimate recall, as in when you call the monster back towards you, is that it's not as fast as you think it is, which means you need to recall it a bit sooner than you think, because if you don't, you run into the issue where you could be trying to recall it. However, because it's not quickly enough, it will actually end up hitting a wall. As you can see here, you heard the little bell, which was the recall. However, I did it too late, and so it ended up hitting the wall and cancelling my ultimate. So ideally, you want to cancel it all the time, because that way it will technically run for a longer period of time, going forward and then backwards, which means the enemies will be completely stunned and unable to do anything for the entire duration. So you want to try and always recall the beast before it hits a wall or before it ends up the run, which is a little bit earlier than you think, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds earlier than you think it would hit the wall, because it is quite fast moving. And so a good thing to keep in mind here is that as the ultimate is running, you can still shoot enemies, and this goes hand in hand with the empowered shot, because like we mentioned in the preview, the empowered shot pierces enemies. And so if you have your experience bar filled up and you have your E and your shift, you could, as the enemies are being dragged by the monster, you could send empowered shot into them one after the other and do massive amounts of damage where the enemies can't do anything about it because they are completely stunned. So it does require quite high actions per minute, so it's not super easy to do. However, with a little bit of practice, once you build up that muscle memory, this will be the go-to bread and butter way to kill enemies, by just sending the ultimate into them and then firing empowered shot after empowered shot into all of them, because it pierces and it will just kill all of them if you can manage to do that. Another tip that could be very useful against Cloak and Dagger specifically is that once Cloak and Dagger's ultimate ends, her final location will be quite predictable, and so you could technically keep your ultimate for the Cloak and Dagger, wait for her to use her ultimate, and once the final dash goes through and you know her final location, you could technically, I don't have it here, but you could use your ultimate on her final location to just send her out of her own ultimate and kill her outside of her own ultimate, and so canceling her ultimate. So if you play Elsa and you are against Cloak and Dagger, you should, if you can, try to keep your ultimate for the Cloak and Dagger specifically, to try and counter her ultimate by taking her out of it and killing her. I don't know if it works or not. Ultimate, so you can cancel it. And not only Cloak and Dagger, however, Cloak and Dagger is the easiest. You can do the same against Invisible Woman ultimate, maybe, where you can just push her out. And especially Mantis, it is very good against Mantis, because Mantis is not crowd control immunity, so you can push the Mantis outside of her team, and so canceling her ultimate, or just push her off the map and just kill her. As well as if there's an enemy Luna Snow, you can't push away the Luna. However, you could technically kidnap the rest of her teammates and push them outside of their own Luna ultimate and maybe kill them, or at least force them off the point or something like that. So her ultimate, like I said earlier, is very versatile, and you can be very creative with her ultimate in regards to countering other ultimates and countering support ultimates with this ultimate. This ultimate, so smart, Elsa's ultimate, will be quite good at countering support ultimates. Anyways, that should be enough for you to get started on Elsa, so you can be a little bit ahead of the curve compared to the rest of the players. However, while all of this is nice in theory, putting it all in practice is a bit more difficult. So maybe come hang out on the stream at twitch.tv/CodeAsag, while I will be playing Elsa, learning Elsa, figuring her out even more. So if you want to learn more about Elsa or the game in general, come hang out and say hi. Anyways, Thanks for watching. Now go get some wins with Elsa.
I think it's funny because like playing hard mode bots are still they're still not difficult to play against. The hard mode bots are not even hard mode.
So Elsa Bloodstone just released with this new mid-season.
But yeah,
and
W video. Go subscribe to Coach DSR. That's who I just watched. That was a good video. I did know some of the things just by figuring it out, but some of those things I was just made aware of. Some of those things will definitely help me play the character even better, and maybe I'll get to 50 kills this time instead of 26. 26-1 is crazy, bro. Like, there's no way I can be that naturally good at a character already. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Like and subscribe. Also.
Uh-oh.
Lights up those numbers!
I'll see y'all later.